You know what's funny? We are all fascinated by the mob, the suits, the loyalty, the betrayals, the violence wrapped in family dinners and Italian restaurants. And Netflix have quietly built one hell of a collection that will make any mobster movie fan lose sleep for a week straight. So today we are counting down the 10 most intriguing mafia movies you can stream right now on Netflix. And I'm not just talking about the obvious classics. We are going deep. We are talking Italian crime syndicates, Irish gangsters, undercover operations, and everything in between. Fair warning though, this list isn't ranked by which movie is best. We are ranking by intrigue, by the stories that grab you and don't let you go. The ones that make you think, wait, this really happened? Or how did they get away with that? Before we jump in, hit that subscribe button. Seriously, we are building something special here and I don't want you to miss any single upload. Alright, let's get started. Coming in at number 10, we've got The Traitor from 2019. This is Italian cinema at its finest. Directed by Marco Bellocchio, this film tells the true story of Tommaso Borsetta, the first high-ranking member of the Sicilian Mafia to break the sacred code of omerta silence. I'm probably not pronouncing this correctly, so bear with me. Pier Francesco Favino plays Borsetta and his performance is absolutely haunting. This isn't some guy who gets caught and flips to save his skin. No, Borsetta watches the mafia kill his sons, his brother, his nephews. His entire family is systematically murdered during the brutal mafia wars of the 1980s. And that's when he decides to testify, not out of guilt or justice, but out of revenge. He wants to destroy the organization that destroyed everything he loved. What makes this intriguing is that Borsetta isn't presented as a hero. He's not redeemed by his testimony. He's a mass murderer who's decided to burn down the house because he has nothing left to lose. The film shows the famous Maxi trial, hundreds of mafioso in cages in this massive courtroom. It's surreal and Borsetta is there testifying, naming names, revealing secrets, and you can see in his eyes he knows he's a dead man walking because the mafia has a long memory. The movie doesn't glorify him. It shows the isolation, the paranoia, the fact that he will never be safe. He has to live under protection for the rest of his life, constantly moving, never settling. The Traitor is intriguing because it asks, what does it take to break a man so completely that he will betray everything he once believed in? And what does the betrayal cost? It is masterfully made, deeply Italian, and based on events that changed the mafia forever. At number 9, we are going to Boston with The Departed from 2006. Martin Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, Alec Baldwin. This cast is absolutely stacked, and Scorsese won his first and so far only Best Director Oscar for this film. Pardon me if I fail to pronounce it correctly once again. Here's the setup, and it's brilliant. DiCaprio plays Billy Castigan, a cop who goes undercover in the Irish mob. Matt Damon plays Colin Sullivan, a mobster who's planted as a mole inside the police department. So you got a cop pretending to be a criminal and a criminal pretending to be a cop, and they are both trying to find each other. It's like a little game of chess. Both sides know there's a rat, but nobody knows who. The tension is suffocating. And then there's Jack Nicholson as Frank Costello, the mob boss. Is absolutely unhinged in this role. Terrifying, unpredictable, darkly funny. There's this scene where he's sitting in a porn theater talking about how he doesn't want to be a product of his environment. He wants his environment to be a product of him. It's pure Nicholson madness. The movie is obsessed with rats, actual rats, people being called rats. The concept of betrayal. Scorsese beats you over the head with it, but it works because that's what this world is. Nobody trusts anybody. Billy is drowning in his undercover role. He's doing crimes, he's losing himself, and the one person who knows he's a cop, his handler, gets killed. So now he's completely alone in the lion's den. Colin seems like he's winning. He's got the career, the girlfriend, the respect, but he's also paranoid because he knows eventually Someone is going to figure him out. The ending is shocking, brutal, and perfect. I won't spoil it, but let's just say nobody gets a happy ending. This is a Scorsese mob movie. You think anyone is walking away clean? The Departed is intriguing because it's about identity. When you pretend to be someone else for so long, do you forget who you really are? Can you ever go back? Plus, it's based on the Hong Kong film Infernal Affairs, so it's got that international pedigree. It's American crime cinema at its absolute peak. Number 8 takes us to the Bronx in the 1960s. We are talking about A Bronx Tale from 1993. This is Robert De Niro's directorial debut, and it's based on Charles Palminteri's one-man show about his own childhood. And let me tell you, this movie has heart. Real, genuine, complicated heart. The story follows a young kid named Calogero, C for short, who's caught between two father figures. There's his actual father, Lorenzo, played by De Niro. He's a hard-working bus driver who believes in honesty, integrity, doing things the right way. Then there's Sonny, played by Palminteri. He's the neighborhood mob boss. Sharp suits, respect, power, money, everything a kid dreams about. And C has to choose, not just once, but over and over again. Does he follow his father's path, the straight and narrow, the working class struggle, or does he follow Sonny, the quick money, the respect, the danger? What makes this intriguing is that Sonny isn't a villain. He's not a monster. He's actually a pretty decent guy by mob standards. He gives C advice. He protects him. He teaches him about respect and reputation in a lot of ways. He's more present than Lorenzo because Lorenzo is always working. There's this iconic moment where Sonny tells C about the difference between being loved and being feared. And then he explains that the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. It's wisdom wrapped in contradiction because Sonny himself is wasted talent. And then the movie layers in racial tension. C falls in love with an African American girl named Jane, which is scandalous in 1960s Italian Bronx. His friends are racist bikers who want to start trouble. It all builds to this explosive climax that forces C to finally choose who he wants to be. It's a coming of age story wrapped in a mafia movie. It's about identity, loyalty, and the choices that define us. And it's timeless. The lessons Sonny teaches about wasting your life on anger, about knowing when to walk away, they hit just as hard today. And the ending, it's bittersweet. C learns that the working man, his father, was the real tough guy all along, not the mobster with the gun. Lucky number 7 brings us to Black Mass from 2015. And this one hits different because it's based on true events that are wild. Johnny Depp plays Whitley Bulger, and this might be his best performance in a decade. Forget Jack Sparrow, this is Depp doing serious, menacing, ice-cold work. He's terrifying in this. Those blue eyes, the receding hairline, the way he speaks softly before he explodes into violence. Whitey Bulger ran South Boston Irish mob for decades. But here's where it gets intriguing. He was also an FBI informant, not because he wanted to do the right thing. No. He was playing both sides. He would give the FBI information on the Italian Mafia, his rivals, and in exchange, the FBI would look the other way on his crimes. His handler was John Connolly, played by Joel Edgerton. And Connolly was in deep. They grew up together in Saudi, and slowly Connolly gets corrupted. He's protecting Bulger, warning him about investigations, helping him eliminate enemies. The line between law enforcement and criminal completely dissolves, and the FBI just lets it happen for years because Bulger was useful. They cared more about taking down the Italian mob than stopping Bulger from murdering people, dealing drugs, and extorting businesses. There's this scene where Bulger asks Connolly's colleague for his secret family recipe. The guy tells him, and Bulger leans in and whispers, "Now, what if I tell people about this recipe? Then it is not a secret anymore. Then it's betrayal." The threat is so subtle but so clear that that's how Bulger operated. Psychological warfare wrapped in politeness. The movie shows you that sometimes The system is just as corrupt as the criminals, and that's what makes it intriguing. The moral rot isn't just in the mob, it is in the institutions we are supposed to trust. And here's the kicker. Bulger went on the run for 16 years. He was on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. They finally caught him in 2011, hiding in Santa Monica. He was eventually killed in prison in 2018. This isn't ancient history. This just happened. Halfway through the list at number 6, we've got The Irishman from 2019. Okay, this one is a beast. 3.5 hours. Martin Scorsese directs. De Niro, Pacino, Percy. The holy trinity of mob movies all in one film. And it's not just a movie, it's a meditation on loyalty, regret, and the cost of the life. Robert De Niro plays Frank Sheeran, a hitman who worked for the mob and claims he killed Jimmy Hoffa. That's the hook that gets everyone in the door. What happened to Hoffa? But that's not really what the movie is about. The movie is about looking back at your life when you are old and realizing it was all for nothing. Frank did everything he was told. He was loyal, he killed people, he sacrificed his family, his relationships, his soul, and at the end, he's alone in a nursing home. Nobody visits, nobody cares. Sources uses the aging technology not as a gimmick but to show the passage of time. You watch these men get older, slower, weaker. The violence that used to be quick and brutal becomes slow, more labored. It's haunting. And Al Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa, incredible. He's got this charisma, this fire, but he's also reckless. He can't let go of power and it destroys him. What makes The Irishman intriguing isn't the violence. There's actually less than you would expect. It's the silence, the long takes of De Niro's face, the quiet moments where you see the weight of everything he's done. There's a line in the movie, "It's what it is." That's how Frank justifies everything. And by the end, you realize that's not enough. It was never enough. The final image is Frank in the nursing home asking the nurse to leave the door open a crack just in case someone comes. But nobody is coming. He knows nobody is coming. This isn't a glorification of mob life. It's a eulogy, and that's why it's at number 6. Number 5 takes us to South Korea. The Gangster, the Cop, the Devil from 2019. Now, this is a crime thriller that operates in Mafia territory, and the premise alone is absolutely wild. A serial killer attacks a mob boss. The mob boss survives and then teams up with a detective to hunt down the serial killer before he strikes again. You heard that right. A gangster and a cop working together. Not because they like each other, but because they both want the same thing: revenge and justice, just for very different reasons. Ma Dong-seok plays Jang Dong-soo, the crime boss, and this guy is an absolute force of nature. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce the names correctly. He's massive, intimidating, and when he gets attacked by this serial killer on a dark highway, he doesn't go down easy. He fights, survives, and becomes obsessed with finding the man who tried to kill him. That opening attack sequence, it's visceral. You feel every impact, and what makes it intriguing is that for once, the serial killer picked the wrong target. He's used to preying on vulnerable people, but he just attacked someone who has an army, resources, and absolutely no regard for the law. Then there's Detective Jung Tae-seok, played by Kim Mo-yo. He's been hunting this serial killer for months with no leads, no witnesses, no evidence, and suddenly he's got a witness. A crime boss who shouldn't even be talking to police. The dynamic between these two is electric. The gangster wants brutal street justice. He wants to find the guy and make him suffer. The cop wants to arrest him properly, follow procedure, make the case stick. They are constantly at odds, constantly threatening each other, but they need each other. What makes this intriguing is watching these two worlds collide. The gangster uses his network, informants, surveillance, intimidation tactics. The cop, on the other hand, uses forensics, procedure, legal authority, and together they are actually effective. The serial killer, known only as K, is genuinely terrifying. He's methodical, emotionless, careful. He picks victims at random, attacks at night, and leaves no trace. He's a ghost. But now he's made a mistake, and both the law and the underworld are closing in. There is this incredible tension throughout because You know that these two are going to turn on each other eventually. The cop can't just let a crime boss walk away. The gangster isn't going to let anyone arrest him. Their alliance has an expiration date and the clock is ticking. The action is incredible, raw, brutal, bone crunching. Korean cinema does not pull punches. Number 4 takes us to Italy, the birthplace of the mafia as we know it. We are talking about Gomorrah from 2008. This is based on Roberto Saviano's explosive book about the Camorra, the Neapolitan Mafia. And Saviano didn't write fiction, he wrote an expose. He named names, described operations, revealed secrets, and the Camorra put a hit on him. He's been living under police protection ever since. That's how real this is. The movie doesn't follow one protagonist. It's an ensemble. There is the tailor who works for Camorra's counterfeit fashion operation. There is the grocery delivery boy who witnesses a massacre. There is a businessman who illegally dumps toxic waste for the mob. And there are two kids who watch Scarface and think they can be gangsters. What makes Gomorrah intriguing is that it shows the real mafia, not the glamorous suits and the fancy restaurants. This is the mafia as a corporation. They are in construction, garbage disposal, fashion, drugs, everything. They are an economic system. And the violence isn't stylized or cinematic. It's sudden, ugly, meaningless. People die in parking lots, in hallways, at dinner tables. There's no honor, no last words, just death. And those two kids just trot around with guns, quoting Scarface thinking they are tough. And they get killed quickly, brutally, because this isn't a movie, it is what actually happened. There's this fascinating subplot about high-end fashion. The Camorra runs counterfeit operations, but they are also connected to legitimate fashion businesses. Fashion houses, they control the supply chain. Your designer clothes, there's a good chance organized crime touched them at some point. And that toxic waste dumping, it's causing cancer clusters in nearby towns. Children are dying and the Camorra is making millions doing it because it's cheaper than legal disposal. Gomorrah is intriguing because it strips away the mythology. It shows that organized crime isn't about family or loyalty. It's about money, and they'll kill anyone, including children, to protect it. This movie is bleak, but it's honest, and that puts it at number 4. The bronze medal goes to Donnie Brasco from 1997, and this one's special because it's about betrayal at the deepest level. Johnny Depp plays Joe Pistone, an FBI agent who goes undercover in the Bonanno crime family using the name Donnie Brasco. Al Pacino plays Lefty Rogero, a low-level hitman who's been passed over for promotion his entire life, and Lefty takes Donnie under his wing. What makes this intriguing is the relationship between the two men. Lefty genuinely cares about Donnie. He teaches him everything: how to dress, how to talk, how to behave, who to respect, who to fear. He treats Donnie like the son he never had. And Donnie starts to care about Lefty too. He sees this sad, aging gangster who's been loyal his whole life and has nothing to show for it. Lefty is broke, his wife hates him, his actual son is a junkie, and the mob doesn't respect him. There's this devastating scene where Lefty shows Donnie his jewelry, his watches, his rings, and he explains that this is his retirement plan. This is all he has. Years of crime, and this is it. As the investigation progresses, Donnie gets torn apart. His marriage is falling apart. He's spending so much time being Donnie Brasco that Joe Pistone is disappearing. His wife says to him, "You are becoming like them," and she's right. And here's the brutal reality. When Donnie's cover is blown, Lefty is going to be killed. The mob doesn't forgive mistakes like this. If you vouch for someone and they turn out to be a rat, you pay the price, and it's Donnie's fault. The movie doesn't give you a clean ending. Donnie completes his mission. The FBI arrests dozens of mobsters. It is one of the most successful undercover operations in history. But Lefty is called in for a meeting with the bosses. He knows what that means. He kisses his wife goodbye and he walks out. We don't see what happened to him, but we know. And Donnie has to live with that for the rest of his life. Donnie Brasco is intriguing because it asks the question, what's the cost of loyalty? What's the cost of betrayal? And is there any real difference when you are living a lie? The real Joe Pistone said in interviews that he still thinks about Lefty, still feels guilty decades later. The silver medal position number 2 goes to Goodfellas from 1990. Come on guys, you knew this was going to be on the list. Martin Scorsese, Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. This is the quintessential mob movie for a generation. Ray Liotta plays Henry Hill and he narrates his entire life in the mob. From a kid idolizing gangsters in the neighborhood to becoming a made man to his eventual downfall. And the narration is perfect. It's conversational, honest, and darkly funny. What makes Goodfellas intriguing isn't just the stories, it's how Scorsese tells it.
Hey Mom, what do you think?
You look like a gangster.
The movie moves, the editing, the music, the energy, it never stops. Even the quiet moments have this underlying tension. Joe Pesci as Tommy DeVito is iconic and terrifying. That's funny house scene where he pretends to be offended and everyone thinks he's about to kill Henry.
You're funny.
You mean,
So?
well, let me understand this, because maybe it's me, I'm a little fucked up, maybe. But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you, I make you laugh, I'm here to fucking amuse you. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Get the fuck out of here, Tommy.
You motherfucker, I almost had him. You stuttering prick yet?
That was improvised. That fear you see on Ray Liotta's face, that's real. He didn't know what Pesci was going to do. The movie shows you the appeal of mob life, the money, the respect, the excitement. Henry literally says, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. And you understand why. For a working class kid, this is the dream. They pull off the Lufthansa heist, $6 million. It should be the greatest moment of their lives, but paranoia sets in. Bodies start piling up. Jimmy Conway, played by De Niro, starts killing everyone involved to cover his tracks, and Henry becomes a coke addict. His life spirals. The famous helicopter sequence where he is convinced he's being followed, that maniac energy, that paranoia, it's perfect filmmaking. The ending is brilliant. Henry survives, but he has to become a rat to save his life. He goes into witness protection. He's safe, but he's nobody. He says, we were treated like movie stars with muscle. Now I'm just an average nobody. I get to live the rest of my life like a schnook. Goodfellas is intriguing because it seduces you with the lifestyle and then shows you the emptiness underneath. It's a tragedy disguised as a crime thriller. And the way it influenced every mob movie that came after is undeniable. And this is number 2, but what could possibly beat it? Number 1, the most intriguing mafia movie on Netflix, The Godfather from 1972. I mean, what else could it be? This isn't just a mafia movie. It is one of the greatest films ever made. Francis Ford Coppola directs. Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, James Caan. The cast is legendary. The movie opens with a wedding, a celebration, and in the office, Don Vito Corleone is hearing requests. I believe in America, the Undertaker says, and right there, you understand everything. This is about power, but it's also about family, about tradition, about a man trying to protect what's his. But the real story is Michael, played by Al Pacino. At the beginning, he is the good son. He fought in World War II. He has a white girlfriend. He tells her, that's my family, Kay. It's not me. He wants nothing to do with the mob. And then everything changes. His father is shot. His brother is killed. And Michael does what he has to do. He kills a police captain and a drug dealer in a restaurant, and when he pulls that trigger, he loses his soul. The rest of the movie is watching Michael become his father, except he's colder, more calculating, more ruthless. By the end, he's ordering the death of all his enemies while standing as godfather to his nephew. The irony is crushing. What makes The Godfather the most intriguing mafia movie is that it's not really about crime, it's about power, it's about family, it's about the American dream and how it corrupts. The last shot of the movie is Kay watching as Michael's men kiss his hand, calling him Don Corleone, and then the door closes. She's shot out. He becomes the monster he never wanted to be. The cinematography by Gordon Willis, those shadows, that darkness creeping into every frame. The score by Nino Rota, that haunting, beautiful theme. The dialogue, I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Every line is quotable. Every scene is perfect. The movie defines the genre. Every mafia film since has been influenced by it. Sources: De Palma, Coppola himself in the sequels, everyone chasing what this film achieved, and almost 50 years later, it still holds up. It's timeless because it's not really about the mob, it's about us, about ambition, about family, about what we are willing to sacrifice for power. That's why it's number one. So there you have it, the 10 most intriguing mafia movies streaming on Netflix right now. From the Sicilian Mafia to the Irish mob in Boston, from the favelas in Rio to the streets of New York, we've covered it all. Now, I want to hear from you. What's your favorite mafia movie? Did I miss one that should have been on the list? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you made it this far, seriously, thank you. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We are dropping videos like this, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay intrigued. Thanks for watching.